Welcome to Spoiler Piece Theater, the podcast that doesn't give a shit about spoilers. We just want to talk about the movies. My name is Dave Riedel. I'm a movie type person and I write about them sometimes. And I'm also a member of the Boston Online Film Critics Association. I forgot the name of the group I'm a part of. That's crazy.
It's all right. It happens. My name is Evan Crean. My pronouns are he, him. I am co-chair of the Boston Online Film Critics Association, co-author of your 80s Movie Guide to Better Living, and co-host of the It's the Pictures podcast.
And my name is Megan Kearns. My pronouns are she, her. I write film reviews for In Session Film. I'm a co-host of the Slashers podcast, a member of the Boston Online Film Critics Association, and a member of Gallica, the Society of LGBTQ Entertainment Critics.
We're going to talk about 3 movies tonight, but before we do that, I want to mention that over on Patreon, we had a poll to see which summer movie you wanted to watch, and you voted for the 1990 crime thriller Miami Blues, starring Alec Baldwin, Fred Ward, and Jennifer Jason Leigh, and it is a ride, ladies and gentlemen. So if you're a patron,
it is a movie.
If you're a patron, please go check that out. And if you're not a patron, I think it's worth ponying up the $5 for this episode for sure. But you get bonus episodes each week, and there's a poll every month. And our conversation was a hoot. But anyway, on to this week's movies. The 3 we're going to be talking about are The Fantastic Four: First Steps. Shouldn't it be Fourth Steps? I mean, come on.
No.
I know. Then we're going to be talking about the comedy ? Oh Hi. And finally, the found footage horror movie. Is it House on Eden?
Yes.
Yeah, I keep wanting to say House of Eden. I don't know why.
I do too.
It keeps tripping me up every time.
Yeah. But anyway, Megan is the member of Spoiler Piece who saw The Fantastic Four: First Steps. So Megan, take it away.
Yeah, I just got out of the screening like a couple hours ago, maybe an hour ago. So it's all very fresh. But yeah, it stars Pedro Pascal, Vanessa Kirby, Joseph Quinn, and Eben Moss-Bachrach. And they are the Fantastic Four. Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic, Sue Storm, the Invisible Woman, Johnny Storm, the Human Torch, and Ben Grimm, the Thing. And so this is I think third time that there's been a Fantastic Four film, if memory serves. And in this one, they already are superheroes. They're already underway. They've been superheroes for 4 years. They are beloved by the whole world. And this is an alternate world. This is Earth 82. And yeah, so it's not in the same universe as the others that we have been watching.
Right.
Interesting.
So, yeah. And this is set in a retro futurist style. So it's inspired by the 1960s, but it's not. And there is a lot of advanced technology. Like they've been to space because that's the incident that brought about their physiological changes and brought about their superpowers. And so there are a few montages that are kind of like new 60s style newsreels where they're showing all of the things that they've done, showing how they've saved the earth many times over, showing all the things they've done that Reed Richards has done for science. And Sue Storm has also become kind of a politician where she's brokering negotiation deals. And so everything's great. Everybody loves them. Everything's wonderful. Woohoo! It's great. And so Reed and Sue are married, and the film starts after like all the kind of introductory montages where he's looking for something in the bathroom and he's like, where is it? And she's like, I'll be out in a minute. I'll be out in 13 seconds, actually. He's like, wow, that's rather specific. And it's because she's waiting for her pregnancy test. And surprise, she's pregnant. And so the movie starts with that. And they've been trying to get pregnant for like 2 years. They weren't able to. So they're both really excited that they're pregnant. But Reed is very cautious. He's a kind of a bundle of anxiety. And he always like thinks of the worst things that could happen. that comes out over the course of the film. And so he's really nervous about what this could mean because of their bodily changes. But she's like, it's going to be great. It's going to be okay. And they both kind of talk about how nothing is going to change, which is absurd because they're going to have a baby and they're superheroes. So of course everything is going to change. But it's a very sweet kind of naive notion, of course. And so she's pregnant. She's still being a superhero. That he's modified the outfits for all of them, and he's modified hers to accommodate her growing belly. And yeah, so everything's great. They're one big happy family because Ben is Reed's best friend and Johnny is Sue's brother. And so they all live together, and they also have a cute robot who helps them called Herbie, and he's great. And they're just living the life. Everything's great. Until all of a sudden the Silver Surfer shows up, and that's played by Julia Garner, and she gives a warning. She's the herald of the planet-eating entity Galactus, and she says, hey, you're marked for death. Your whole planet's gonna die and be destroyed and eaten by Galactus. You don't have a lot of time, so hang out with your loved ones and make the most of the time you have left. But she doesn't say like how much time or anything. So they're like, oh shit, we got to get to spring into action. And so they are calculating like her heat signature to try to find her. And they find out that everywhere her heat signature has been was a planet, but it is gone, just eviscerated. Whoa. And yeah, so they decide, okay, we have to find her, because if we find her, we'll find Galactus and we'll just talk to him and we'll negotiate and it'll be fine.
Oh boy.
So yeah. So they go and do that, and they go back into space, which is very exciting for Johnny because Reed hasn't wanted to go back into space because the last time they went into space, the whole, the storm that they encountered that changed their bodies happened. So anyway, they're going into space. They find the Silver Surfer. She does not call herself that, but she is the Silver Surfer. And they find her, and then she's like, you shouldn't have come, but you can talk to Galactus. And they talk to him, and he is enormous. And he's like this enormous kind of machine stone creature, like a humanoid type creature, like a human sort of, and voiced by Ralph Ineson, who has that great,
right,
like deep
perfect
gravelly voice. Exactly. Yeah. Perfect voice. So menacing. And he's like, yeah, I'm going to eat your planet because and the Silver Surfer has told them because they're like, well, what does he want? Because they want to negotiate. And she's like, he doesn't want anything. He just feeds. He just needs to consume. And so he's like, yeah, I'm going to eat your planet. And then he's like, oh, but we could make a deal. And he's like, and he sees into Sue's belly and sees that she has a baby. And he's like, I want your baby. If you give me your baby, I won't eat your planet. And so they're like, we're not fucking giving you our baby.
Yeah, fuck no.
No. Yeah. So then he does some kind of like laser zap with his eyes. And then she immediately goes into labor because she's pretty far along in her pregnancy. So she immediately goes into labor. So they have to like hightail it out of there and get back to their ship so they can like take care of her. And then the Silver Surfer's on their tail, and it's a whole chase. And then basically they calculate getting close to a black hole. So she'll get trapped in the black hole for a little bit, and then they can get away. And so that buys them enough time. So then they get away. The baby is born on board. And Reed has done all these tests. Like, he's really worried the baby's going to be, like, there's something going to be wrong with him. And the baby's fine. But Galactus is convinced this baby is the key to everything, and that this baby has tons of superpowers that he's hidden from the tests that Reed has done, and that he's convinced he can satiate his hunger so he can finally rest. So they get back to Earth. And they show the baby, and everyone thinks they're like, oh, you defeated Galactus. And then they have to tell them, no, we didn't. And then they're like, what do you mean you didn't? And then they're like, are we safe? And Reed's like, I don't know. And then they're like, well, wait a minute. Why didn't you give him what he wanted? And he's like, well, he wanted our baby. We're not going to give the baby. And then the journalists at this conference are like, you should have given him the baby. And so everybody turns on them and is like, you're selfish. You should have given up the baby. And I'm like, what? This is crazy. So then Sue goes out and talks to the people and has meet the baby. And, she's like, I would fight for my baby and I'm going to fight for all of you. We're all one big family. And it's kind of corny, but it's very sweet. And so then they decide to do a planet-wide plan to build these towers all over the planet to transport the planet to another part of the galaxy or universe, somewhere else, so Galactus can't find the baby or planet Earth. And so they're about to do this. They're like 10 seconds away from the countdown to transport Earth because they've done teleportation tests and they can do it. And then the Silver Surfer comes and destroys all the towers except for one. So then they have a plan to lure Galactus by using their baby as bait. And then they're gonna turn the switch and have him go through this bridged like portal to send him away rather than moving planet Earth. But that doesn't go as planned. And then there's a whole fight with that. And Sue uses all of her energies getting Galactus into the portal, and they've also evacuated the city because this is in New York, and they've evacuated New York by going into the subterranean country, which is the underground levels, and Paul Walter Hauser is in charge of that. Anyway, it's like a little mini subplot. And anyway, Sue dies trying to save the baby and save everybody. But then the baby does have superpowers and the baby brings her back to life. And the Silver Surfer also, because Johnny is about to sacrifice himself to get Galactus to the portal, and the Silver Surfer pushes him through. So it was a group joint effort, and Galactus goes away, and then everybody's alive again. Everybody's great. Everybody's happy. Woohoo! We love the Fantastic Four. And then in a post-credits scene, we see it's 4 years later, and Dr. Doom is there with the baby. Well, now not the baby. Now the baby's 4 years old. So, and that's how it cuts, and how they will be back in Avengers Doomsday.
Mm-hmm.
So yes. So I liked this. I had a lot of fun with this. I think it's a great cast. I liked the little touches. Like, I love Eben Moss-Bachrach. He's great in everything. The Bear, he was great on Girls. And he is, like, you really only see him as Ben, the Grimm, the Thing, like the stone creature, but he's a great voice actor and he loves cooking. And so I kind of like that there's like a little thing where he's always talking about cooking and talking about tweaking recipes. And so that's a nice little touch. And then Johnny is infatuated with Silver Surfer. He's like got the hots for her, and he like cracks her language because she says one sentence to him and he asks what it means. And she says, and they have all these recordings from other planets or other aliens, and then he deciphers her whole language, and so that's a whole subplot. So there's a lot happening, but it doesn't feel like there's a lot happening. It feels fairly cohesive, and I actually cried when Sue died. I was like, this is sad, and it was very emotional, and I like its kind of themes of parenting and how you can't plan for everything, and you can be scared and you can think you can plan for everything, but there's always going to be something unexpected, and there's a lot of themes about family and coming together, and that's really nice. So this was nice. This was a nice fun time. I enjoyed it.
Which phase are we in?
6, 5?
Does this count as a phase? I mean, our new phase? I don't know.
No, I think Thunderbolts was the new phase.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, I think. Or Brave New, I almost said Brave New World. Whatever, the Captain America one. The Brave.
Isn't that called Captain America Brave New World?
Oh, yeah, it is Brave New World. That's right. It is.
Interesting.
But yeah, phase 6. It's phase 6.
Yep.
So.
Oh, and this is the first film in phase 6. So this has marked a new phase.
Okay. So.
Gotcha.
I wonder how this works into all the other stuff if they're in an alternate Earth.
Well, at the end of Thunderbolts, at the post-credits scene, you see their ship come in.
Yeah.
In the sky.
So they go to our Earth.
Yeah.
Nice.
Earth 600 something or other, I think.
I don't know, but yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I also really liked. So yeah, I was talking about this with my roommate who went with me, and he wasn't that into it. He was like, "Yeah, it was fine." He's like, "It's kind of like all the other Marvel films," and I was like, "Yeah, that is true," but I don't typically see a pregnant superhero, and I don't see like dealing with babies as superheroes and parents. So I like that. I like that angle. It was a little different.
Well, except for the Incredibles, I guess, but.
I mean, in Marvel.
In Marvel.
But yes, I also don't like The Incredibles. So
I've only seen the first one and I don't remember anything about it.
Yeah. But no, you're right. Well, I mean, is she pregnant in The Incredibles?
No, they already have
he's
the
a baby.
kid.
They already have it. Yeah. Oh, Jack.
And they're trying to figure out what his power is.
Right,
They're
right.
Like,
So
waiting.
Yeah.
I don't remember what his power is, but doesn't he
He
sneeze?
makes fire, from what I remember. Yeah.
And then he's big. I don't know.
I think he has multiple powers.
Yeah, I think he
Right.
is very powerful, actually. I think you're right. But no, you're right. You are right. It is very much like The Incredibles, which The Incredibles basically took from Fantastic Four.
Huh,
So
there you go.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Anything you want to add to that, Megan?
Just that, again, Pedro Pascal is playing, once again, a dad with a special child with special powers. And I'm not
You
mad
mean
at
like
it.
Last of Us?
The Last of Us, The Mandalorian, Freaky Tales. That's not a magic baby, but he is fighting through, neo-Nazis with a baby in his arm.
Yeah.
Wow. All right, Pedro, way to go. All right, well, let's move on then. Evan and I saw Oh Hi, which is, as I had said, is kind of a running gag through this movie.
Right.
But
It has nothing to do with The Room, by the way. Because that's when I heard the title, all I could think of was, oh, hi, Mark.
I didn't even think of that. That's too funny.
Yeah. I had kind of thought of that too, but had forgotten until just now. So anyway, Oh Hi. This is directed by Sophie Brooks. It's written by Sophie Brooks and Molly Gordon. It stars Molly Gordon and Logan Lerman. And here is your summary from IMDb. Iris and Isaac's first romantic weekend getaway goes awry in a most unexpected way. I guess that's true.
Yeah. Vague, but true.
So anyway, Iris and Isaac are a newish couple. They've been dating, I think they say 4 months. Isn't that right?
Yep.
And you see them going on their first romantic weekend getaway together, and they're going to, is the town called High Valley? And the O
I think it's
has
called High Falls or something.
High Falls. Yeah, and the O on the sign that says "Welcome to High Falls" is fallen, so it looks like Ojai Falls, and so she keeps calling it that, which is, I guess, where Ojai comes from. And he's like, "It's not Ojai, it's High." She's like, "No, it's Ojai." I don't know whether her character actually knows that it's the sign is fucked up or not, but she doesn't play it like that. Anyway, so they pull off to buy some strawberries, and the strawberry farmer is making eyes at Logan Lerman, and she's like, "You have beautiful eyes." He's like, "Well, you do too. Doesn't she have beautiful eyes, Molly Gordon?" She's like, "Sure."
Yeah, it's a very awkward and very flirtatious interaction. But we should also mention that the movie opens with it does Dave's one of his least favorite things. It opens in the middle and then rewinds back. So like the opening scene is like Molly Gordon looking very distressed.
Right.
And her friend shows up at this, house in the middle of the night, and she's like, "Oh boy, I really need your help. I did something bad." And then it cuts to 33 hours earlier, and then
them singing "Islands in the Stream." Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, "Islands in the Stream." That's a jam.
Yeah, it's great. So, written by Barry Gibb, one of his songs that Kenny Rogers decided he'd destroy. So anyway,
listen, Dolly Parton's there too, and she's amazing.
I didn't mention Dolly Parton as having destroyed anything. You'll notice.
That's what I mean. It's great because she's great. Anyway, please continue.
Yeah. So anyway, they get to this. I'm assuming it's an Airbnb. They never say, but like it's an Airbnb.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And they're checking it out, and they're loving it, and they have sex in the right when they get there, because she's like, "I have this rule that every new place I go to, I have to have sex in it." And he's like, "Me too." She's like, "I didn't see you at the meetings." He's like, "I stopped going." Ha ha. And then
how cute.
They go for a swim in the nearby lake, and David Cross is there, and he's like, "Don't have sex in the lake." And she's like, I'm in a one piece. I don't really think you can have sex in a one piece. And, he's weird and creepy. And then they go and Logan Lerman makes scallops for dinner. And then they, have some more sex upstairs because they find that whoever owns the home has a ball gag and some, stuff to tie people, handcuffs and some BDSM stuff in the closet. So they decide, all right, well, we'll tie up, Molly Gordon. And she's going along with it. She's like, oh, I'm so freaked out. Can I tie you up instead? And he's like, oh, sure. So they do that and they have some great sex. And then she's like, I got to go to the bathroom. She comes back. She's like, oh, this is such a wonderful weekend. And I'm so glad that we're, starting our relationship this way. And he's like, what relationship? And
he's still tied up. And
he's still tied up, by the way. He's like, what?
I see where this is going.
Yeah. He's like, what relationship? And she's like, we're in a relationship. We've been dating for 4 months. You did all these boyfriend things. And he's like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah,
I've been sleeping with other people. Meanwhile, they've been having unprotected sex. And she's like, you're sleeping with other people? He's like, yeah, I thought you said we'll have protected sex with other people or something and unprotected sex together. And he's totally twisting it around on her and acting like he thinks he's done literally nothing wrong.
Yeah,
of course.
So, and this is where my thing about, I wanted to talk to you about this feeling I had about this movie, and who did what wrong and et cetera, but it'll come at the end. So, anyway, she decides to leave him tied up overnight. Just kind of, I can't remember why she just decides to do it overnight.
I mean, she's upset with him and she's
sure.
like, well, maybe you can just sit here and think about things.
That's it.
And she goes and she's having her own moment. She calls her mom, and it's clearly her mom has some very dysfunctional attitudes about relationships. You find out that her mom had a very dysfunctional marriage to her father, and she's like, just why don't you go and convince him that he needs to be, your boyfriend? She's like, take off your clothes and basically sex him into thinking that he needs to be together with you.
Yeah,
I know.
Then she reads
There's actually
stuff.
There's a funny line where she's like, there's something to the effect of I didn't think my mom would be telling me to use my body or something like that.
Yeah. And so then she stays up all night, reading these, how to get your man to like you type stuff from one particular blogger whose name she mentions a bunch of times. And then I can't remember. She goes upstairs the next morning and she's like, I think what we need to do is I'll keep you tied up like this for 12 hours and I will convince you that we're supposed to be in a relationship together. And he's like, no, that's fucking crazy. And she's like, no, she's like, I'll make you breakfast. And, she goes to make him French toast and she doesn't have any eggs. She goes to get one from David Cross and then she comes back and, he's got to pee and, a bowl because, he can't go to the bathroom because he's tied up. And he starts playing along with it because she says, well, we'll just do this for 12 hours. And at the end of 12 hours, I'll unlock you and you'll be convinced that I'm your girlfriend. And he's like, sure. Yeah. So he's just biding his time and waiting for this to happen. When the 12 hours happens, she's like, don't you feel like blah, blah, blah? And he's like, yeah, but you said it was 12 hours. So can you untie me? She's like, sure. So she undoes one of the cuffs around his ankle. And then she says something and like an idiot, he's like, well, I don't know if we're actually together. And she's like, what?
Yeah. And then he's like, oh, by the way, you're totally fucking going to jail because you've kidnapped me. And he's like, that's how we got OJ. We're going to get you the same way. Because she's like, this isn't kidnapping. And he's like, I'm just not letting you leave. And he's like, that's still kidnapping. That's how they got OJ. And he's just popping off at the mouth saying this stuff. So they get into I think he elbows her in the nose and she starts bleeding and she hits him in the eye.
Sort of I think he kicks her with his foot because he's trying to keep her from locking him up again.
Yeah.
And so it gives her a bloody nose. But when he kicks her, she flies back and elbows him right in the face and he gets a bloody nose too. So,
yeah. Or a black eye. He's starting to have a black eye. But then she's like, fuck this. So she locks him back up. And then we cut to her friend getting there and she's explaining what happened and she's like, I don't know what to do. He's tied up, but now I'm am I going to go to prison for tying him up and like kidnapping him? Basically, like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And her friend's like also kind of like, I don't know what to fucking do. And now I'm like here, and now I know this information. And then you find out that her boyfriend is in the car because he drove her up there. And so like he comes in, then he has to find out what's going on. And three of them are collectively like, I don't know what to fucking do now. Now we're all like, involved. Like we're all like, they're like, we're accessories to kidnapping now. Fuck, what are we going to do? I don't know.
So they call the friend's cousin, who is a witch, and she gives them a spell to make Logan Lerman forget what's happened. Because at first, Molly Gordon's like, we'll give him a head injury and he'll get amnesia. And they're like, you can't give him a head injury. And so the friend calls her cousin the witch, and she gets the potion. They make it, and they convince the boyfriend to also drink some of it so Logan Lerman will drink it too, because they're like, he'll never drink it if I give it to him, says Molly Gordon. I can't remember any of the characters' names, by the way.
What they do is, he's like, oh, if I have to give him this, like, spiked tea, like, I should come with my own beverage. So he's just drinking, like, the boyfriend's drinking regular tea, and he gives Logan Lerman, like, the potion. So, like, they're both sitting there, like, drinking tea. He's, like, reading Logan Lerman his book that he's reading. He's reading
which
that
is
book,
Blindness. Which I never want to read that book because I saw the movie. So, which comes down to, where do we shit? Just like all of those movies do. Anyway, so Logan Lerman falls asleep, and Molly Gordon, Isaac and Iris crawls in next to him, and then Max and Kenny go and sleep, and Logan Lerman in the morning is like, oh, wow, well, first of all, he has a dream where Molly Gordon says, I hate you. Then he wakes up, and he's like, oh, Molly Gordon's there, and he doesn't remember what happened the night before, and she's untied him, and he's walking around and like, hey, everybody, and they're like, hey, and they're trying to get the other couple out of there because then he'll think something's up. But they just say, oh, well, they just decided to come up and surprise us, whatever. And he's like, okay. What is he going to get in the car, Evan?
He says, I left flour in the car to make pancakes or something.
Yes.
So he bolts to Molly Gordon's car, gets in the car, and just speeds off. And they're like, oh, fuck. Guess he did actually remember what happened, because they show, like, they're having this whole conversation outside about the tea. And he had asked, the friend's boyfriend to open the window. So he overheard the whole conversation, like,
right.
Which was obvious from the moment that window was opened. You're like, he's going to hear what they're doing, even if they don't show it in the moment. So he's speeding off in the pouring rain, and the rest of them are kind of like, fuck, well, I guess what's going to happen is it's going to happen. Molly Gordon goes and takes a nap, and then like wakes up, and they've like made her breakfast. And then she gets a phone call from the cops, and it turned out her car is like wrapped around a tree, and he's nowhere to be found. But David Cross comes by, and he's like, I heard some guy like howling your name in the woods. I like heard some guy like yelling the name Iris. He's like, oh, where do you think that is? Like, I don't know. I think it's by the creek. It's a whole awkward exchange. It's like perfectly written dialogue for David Cross. He even does the little like thing he does in Mr. Show when he's like thinking about something.
Mm-hmm.
And so then, she goes to find him. He like broke his ankle and he's in the woods, and they like talk and basically like talk it out, and just like, I was a shithead for doing what I did to you, like leading you on. He like acknowledges the fact that he was an asshole to her, and, does the like, I'm a guy with emotional intimacy issues because I'm afraid of commitment and whatever. And she's like, yeah, and it was wrong that I tied you up and try to like force you to be in a relationship with me. They're like, okay, great. Glad we agree on that. And so like, he's getting like, Logan Lerman's like getting carted off in like a stretcher. They're like, okay, bye.
Yeah. Now, Evan, does she actually apologize to him? I don't think she does.
I don't think she ever like really said, I'm sorry. I feel like I'm sorry is kind of implied. It's kind of like, it's implied. And he's also like, I don't remember him explicitly apologizing either. Well, no, I think he does apologize. I think he says, I'm sorry for leading you on, and I should have been upfront with you. And he does acknowledge that he was a shithead, and he actually did something wrong.
And he was a shithead. But I want to just say, I don't think the crimes fit together, and I think she gets off a little too easy. Now, this is a comedy. I don't expect her to go away for like 6 years or something like that.
Yeah, no, it is. I think it's absurdist comedy too. So it's kind of like, okay, we know that she's not gonna. They're gonna agree to disagree at the end, basically.
Yeah, the whole thing is kind of unpalatable to me. It would help it a lot more if the movie was actually funny.
Oh, I thought it was funny. I laughed out loud several times.
Well, hold on. I'm not saying it's not funny, but I don't think it's nearly as funny as it thinks it is.
Okay.
I will also say surprising amount of nudity in this movie.
Yes, surprising amount of nudity. I thought it was going to be one of those movies that was like, we're going to see characters like from behind the side, whatever. We'll see like implied nudity, not like straight up nudity.
Yeah. I mean, this is not a complaint. It was just a surprise. So
yeah, agreed. I also was kind of like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nudity. All right.
Like, oh, they've taken their clothes off to like do an incantation at the end of this spell. How strange.
Yeah, like they lit a fire and they're nude. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But anyway, I just found the whole thing just seemed so forced to me that it was kind of hard for me to enjoy it. And I like Molly Gordon. I don't really have an opinion about Logan Lerman, except he's always played kind of the like guy when he was younger, and now he's more of a regular actor type dude, and he plays a shithead pretty well, I would say.
Yes, he does.
And I think that the Max? I think she's fine. I think the guy who plays Kenny is like just kind of not very good.
I think he was okay. He is a real Megan. It's the actor who plays the cop with the mustache on Yellow Jackets, the like younger cop guy who's like,
cop guy with the. Oh my God! Why
he's
am
got
I
like
totally
he's got a real
blanking?
Dave Coulier vibe going on. He very much is like he's like. I feel like when I see him on screen, he's like channeling Dave Coulier.
Does he say "cut it out" very slowly and use his fingers too?
He could. He very much could. But yeah, it's that actor who, yeah, I feel like you kind of either like that guy or don't like that guy based on his like whole vibe that he's bringing to the table. I thought he was funny in this role, in the like nerdy, awkward. I'm going along with this plan, even though it's totally absurd.
Yeah. Well, Evan, let's hear what you thought of it. Aside from the fact that you thought it was funny.
Yeah, it's a weird movie. It's a weird story. I found it weirdly funny and weirdly watchable. I don't know that it's a movie I would be like, I want to see it again for any reason, but I didn't hate watching it. I mean, I like Molly Gordon a lot. I think she's really good in this.
Yeah.
I think she's like very convincing to me when she kind of goes down that like problematic Google rabbit hole that she does, and then kind of like convinces herself that this is okay to keep him, tied up. And when she's kind of when he's like, tell me about your childhood, and she literally spends an entire day talking about herself, like that to me feels like it feels realistic. She like sells me on it. And I found the friends funny when they were involved in this, and everyone's just kind of, what the fuck? What do we do about this? Was kind of working for me. I thought it looked pretty good in terms of like cinematography.
It looks surprisingly good.
I think they have good chemistry too. Like they feel like they're like working really well together. And when you're watching a movie like this, it's obvious that he's gonna be a shithead. Like I felt, to me, from like the jump, I was like, okay, it's gonna turn out that he's a shithead, and it's almost certainly gonna be something like what happened. Like I knew it was probably gonna be him being like, wait, what relationship? I just was waiting for him to be a fuckboy, because she even says like, I thought you were a fuckboy, but you seemed mysterious, so you kept my attention. So it's like her instincts about him were dead on, and she should have listened to her instincts about him. But yeah, and I think his performance is good. He has a very like kind of terrified look on his face that I think is pretty effective, especially like when he's starting to realize that he's really going to be locked up for a long time, or possibly they might make the decision to kill him because that might just be easier. Even though like as the audience, you're like, there's no way they're not going to kill him. Come on. That's just ridiculous.
Yeah. It's not in the bedroom. So,
Right.
Oh God, that movie.
Yeah.
So, and I like David Cross as the fucking weirdo neighbor. I mean, like,
Taylor written for him, it has to be.
Tailor-made role for David Cross. Like, of course, he's the fucking weirdo neighbor who's like talking about coordinates and degrees or something like that when he's trying to pinpoint the acoustics of where the guy was howling from in the woods.
Right.
It's just totally him. So yeah, I liked this movie. It's fucking weird. It's a weird story. I don't know, but it was working for me. It held my attention. I think the performances were really good. I think it looked good. I liked the cast.
It looks really good. I thought of that when they were driving down the road in the opening. I'm like, wow, this is really good. And then when they're kind of like looking out at the vista and, I think it's like twilight, it just looks great. I was really surprised because I was not expecting it in a movie like this, which is to say sort of a rom-com, not really. Right. I mean, a dark comedy
together. Yeah, it is a dark comedy. It's funny because like when I saw the tags on IMDb, it was like dark comedy. I'm like, is it really going to be a dark comedy? And then I watched it. Actually, really is an apt description of it. Is a dark comedy. It's absurdist. It's grim humor throughout, like through him being tied up and everyone just kind of being like, well, the fuck do I do with this? I'm gonna go to jail. I don't know what to do.
Yeah. Wasn't there a movie where Meg Ryan tied up her husband?
I think so.
And her husband was Ordinary People. I can't remember.
Oh, Tom Hulse?
No, that's Dominic and Eugene. Timothy, Beautiful Girls.
Timothy Hutton.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, it's is that
written
Addicted to Love?
Yes, is that what it's called? Yeah, and it was written by murder victim. I can't remember her name either. She made the Pie movie with Kerry Russell. God, what is my problem?
Waitress.
Shelley. Yes. Right. Kind of reminds me of that in a little way. Well, so much so that I can't remember anything about it.
I have to say, it's really weird that you guys are talking about this movie because I just saw a movie. I just had a screener for a film that was that premiered at Fantasia Fest that is about a teen who handcuffs her pop singer idol to her bed, and because she thinks she's helping him. Anyway, it's eerie how similar, but it is very much not played for laughs. It is very much a thriller. So it's funny hearing you guys talk about it. But yeah, and also of course like Misery. Annie Wilkes. Yeah,
it definitely has like kind of vibes of that. But it's just, I don't know. It's just, I never felt like he was actually in danger of being hurt.
Right.
And I don't know it actually.
Well, that's good.
I don't know how well it hangs together, the discussion we're describing, when they're kind of like apologizing to each other.
Yeah, it doesn't hold.
But I don't really know how else this movie was going to end because I really legitimately never thought it was going to end with like murder.
Yeah. I feel like that's the only way. Is someone going to jail,
or her
murder,
going to jail. Yeah.
Right.
Or if he died in the car after he crashed it in the tree. I mean, that would have been crazy. Because they would have been like, well, I guess we got away with it. But...
Right?
I was thinking that possibly what might happen is that he would be driving the car, crash the car, and then actually get amnesia, and it would just work out that like they were like,
too.
I was wondering they were going to do that early in the movie when she said to her friend, "I did a bad thing." I was like, oh my god, what if they like struggled and she stabbed him because she made this comment earlier in the movie, Megan, where she's like talking about her first boyfriend that dumped him, and she's like, I wanted to stab him. Like, I actually wanted to stab him. She's like, I didn't, but the thought crossed my mind. So I was like, oh, what if she stabbed him in a struggle or something?
And later in the movie, he's like, well, you said you wanted to stab your boyfriend. She's like, I thought about it for like 3 seconds. I would never stab somebody. And I actually believe her because, she doesn't really come across as loony.
She seems a little bit.
She's a little unhinged the first night, but I think it's exacerbated when he tells her to calm down because that, of course, is played as first he says, I can't remember what he says first, but it's a variation of calm down. And then he says, okay, you need to calm down. And she's like, don't tell me to calm down, which I have seen many times. all over Instagram mostly. But yeah, it didn't hang together for me the way it did for you, Evan.
Mm-hmm.
I think that her character just gets away with too much. And I think that his character, I mean, there are worse things that can happen to you than being, I guess, tied up for 12 hours when nothing really bad physically is going to happen to you. Mentally, you might struggle with this for quite a while. Who knows? But, you know.
Yeah, I have to say they both sound terrible people.
Yeah.
And both instances, like I was thinking yeah, she did kidnap him by holding him against his will. And he also puts her in jeopardy by sleeping with all these people when she's completely unaware of it. You know, that's violating her consent. So it's like, he's violating consent. She's violating his consent. She's it's all just I'm so disgusted. I want to take 5 showers. Listening to this, I'm like, ugh.
It's messy. They're not, neither of them are good people, but I don't know. I take some sort of weird solace though in the fact that it seemed like he finally understood that he did a bunch of stuff wrong, because he's just it seemed like he didn't understand at all or care that he did something wrong, even if he internally acknowledged it. The fact that he just at first refuses to even consider that he's done something wrong, and he's just oh no, I didn't do anything wrong. And she's really, you don't think you've done anything wrong here? I feel like so many men are like that though.
Well, sure.
But did they have a
twist things, they're
conversation?
manipulative.
Did they have a conversation about exclusivity?
It sounds like they did, and he twisted her words around to make it be oh, well, I heard what I wanted to hear out of that conversation.
Kinda, but at the same time, I feel like he could have actually reasonably, if he's the kind of person he is, he could have reasonably thought that's what she meant. Now, that being said, doesn't make him any less of a dickhead.
No. I just feel so often people don't have the conversation and they make assumptions without talking, actually getting down to brass tacks. It's you got to be very explicit about what you're doing. Anyway, sorry, please continue.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say that I think one of the things it's not that I didn't like it. It just feels strange to me that the movie is just so on her side, to the point that she doesn't admit any wrongdoing about kidnapping him. Unless I missed that line of dialogue, Evan seems to think it was there at the end in some way. I do not remember that.
I don't remember if she explicitly said, "I'm sorry." She might have. I feel like they both kind of make peace with each other at the end. But
if it takes a car accident and breaking your ankle to forgive your sort of not really girlfriend for kidnapping you, then okay. It's just bizarre. Anyway, do you have anything else to say about it, Evan?
I did laugh at the very grim joke when they're putting him in the stretcher and the guy's strapping him in. He's like, "Do you have to use the straps?"
Yeah, he's it's for your safety. He's like, okay. And then
Molly
can you
Gordon's
loosen him?
Can you make him a little loose?
Yeah, that
was funny. But so I don't know. I think net I did enjoy this movie, even though it was odd.
Well, I am going to say it is watchable, surprisingly watchable. But I still, Molly Gordon has a lot of charisma, so I think that helps a lot.
Molly Gordon is great.
Yeah, she can do a lot of different stuff.
Yes.
So anyway, let's move on to our last movie of the night. We are going to be talking about the found footage horror movie House on Eden, not of Eden. Keep, like I said before, want to keep calling it Of Eden. This movie, all three of us saw. This is written and directed by Kris Collins. It stars Kris Collins and Celina Myers and Jason Christopher Mayer, all using their real names in the movie. And here is your one-sentence IMDb summary. Megan's favorite. Setting out to film their next paranormal investigation, Kris, Celina, and Jay encounter a malevolent ancient spirit that resides in an abandoned house deep in the woods. That is accurate. So basically, what found footage movie is this most like?
Blair Witch Project.
Is it Blair Witchy? Yeah.
Yeah. It's got a little Blair Witch. I think these people are all real life, paranormal influencers. At least at least I was told by Shauna that Celina Spooky Boo is somebody who does that.
Yeah, she's best friends with Kris Collins. They have a podcast. Kris Collins has an enormous following on TikTok. She's got 50 million followers, and she does comedy skits, and she was a Canadian hairdresser. So
does she do paranormal stuff?
I don't know. Maybe she might. She might with Celina. Like they might talk about stuff, but her skits on her TikTok are just comedy skits. They're not. They have nothing to do with paranormal stuff.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to go out here on a limb and say I like Celina Myers a lot. She's funny in this. Anyway, so yeah, they're go. Did anybody notice the Venus flytraps in the opening?
Yes.
Thing.
Mm-hmm.
Harbinger of things to come. I don't know.
Yeah.
So Kris has found this this house somewhere. I don't know where. She read about it online. She Googled it. She found it. They talked to some other paranormal investigator friends, like, do you know anything about this? And they're like, no. And they're like, oh, if they don't know about it, it's real. So they go and they try to find it. And first they find an abandoned shack, which has a snake inside of it, I guess. And then they're like, nah, it's not here. And then they find the house. And the house, I mean, it's pretty clear when like you shoot a movie in your grandma's house. So I mean, not necessarily your grandma's house, but one of the things they say in this movie when they find the house is it's in pristine. It looks like it hasn't been lived in years, but everything about it is pristine. There's no dust anywhere. There's, right. But there's also no electricity and no running water. So can somebody else take over for this? Because I feel like I'm not going to do it justice. Who saw this most recently?
Probably me. I saw it this morning.
Okay. Megan, I'm putting you on the spot. I'm sorry.
That's okay. But there's not a lot of plot, so there's not much.
Right?
Yeah.
It's
so
just roaming around the house.
Right.
Basically.
I don't think you're not doing it justice. There's just not a lot of plot, and I don't even mean that as a dig. There's just not. Yeah. So at first the film opens and they're playing around with different cameras because they each are going to be filming what's happening. Even though Jay is their DP and he's the one who's kind of like the camera expert and he's the one who sets up the cameras. But Kris and Celina are the ones who host Spooky AF Productions, and they go into these houses and they go to paranormal places and try to find out what's going on. And so they're supposed to go to this other place, but then Kris is like, oh, surprise, we're actually going to this other house that I found. And Celina's kind of upset because she's like, well, I don't have any information on this because I didn't do any research on this. And Kris is like, oh, it's fine. We shouldn't be so rehearsed anyway. That's boring. And you start to kind of see, like, they're all very close clearly, but you start to see like cracks where like Celina's irritated that she wasn't in on the planning process, and Kris is irritated at the way things have been going, like with their, that it's too rehearsed, too perfect. And Kris is irritated at Jay for, I don't even know, for some reason. But anyway, so when they finally do get to the house, and everything you said, Dave, like the house is pristine and everything, and it looks very, very old, and it does look very grandma, very grandma chic-esque. And so they've set up all these static cameras all over. So it's kind of like a way to kind of get around the traditional found footage camera work, but they each also have cameras themselves. And then weird stuff starts happening. Like Celina starts doing like this incantation, and Jay can't get her to stop when like Kris is in another part of the house. And then then Jay and Kris fight, and she's like, well, you're stupid and you don't even do anything anyway. Cause he's like, I'm getting out of here. And he's like, I want to go to the car. And she's like, you should go. So he leaves and goes to the car, and then it's just Kris and Celina. Oh, and earlier I should also say, it's a minor thing, but it again shows kind of the cracks between them. They're doing their intro on this house, and Kris first introduces herself, then Celina, and then Celina like kind of launches into like, we found this great house, and Kris stops her and she's like, actually, I want to do this because I'm the one who found the house. So it's kind of, again, like some awkward tension between them. And so anyway, fast forward to Jay has left, but he's still there. He's just out in like the yard, or supposed to be. And so Kris and Celina start going through the house, and yeah, they have like a device that can speak for the ghost or something, where so Celina puts on like an eye mask and like headphones so she can't hear anything, but she like can say what the ghost message machine is telling her to say. So Kris is asking questions to the ghost, if there's a ghost there, and about this woman who disappeared like 60 years ago. And Celina is just saying, she can't hear the questions being asked. She's just saying whatever she hears. So in a way, kind of like channeling the ghost. And so there's like some spooky shit that happens there. And then they separate, and Kris goes to a room and she sets up these balls, like little cat balls, and they have like lights in them, and they're gonna go off if somebody comes close. And she keeps hearing weird noises, and she turns, and there's this great scene where like all of like the cat balls start, like one starts lighting and then another one, and it's getting closer to her. And then she turns around quickly, and the cat balls are all not lit. And then there's like a weird hand coming down that you see in the mirror reflection. And so then later, Kris goes back to Celina, and Celina is again doing some weird incantation, and she's like ripping out the flesh on her arm, and she's like rocking in the chair. And then so then there's like a chase, and then Kris goes in a bathroom, and there's a tub of water, and she gets shoved into this tub of water. And I should say, before actually Celina was like ripping off the flesh of her arm, she can't find Jay, and she's really worried about him because she's like, he should be there, he's not there. And so she watches his camera, and she watches the other cameras back. And then you see Kris went to the convenience store, and there was an older woman sitting there, and she says, so Kris is pregnant, and that's one of the things that Kris reveals to them. And the woman at the convenience store says to her, congratulations. And she's like, I'm sorry, what? And then that's it. That's all you see from her kind of flashback on her camera.
And you see like a weird woman in the house too. Like there's when Kris first gets there, she like hears a noise and she falls down the stairs because there's like a woman in this like white gown. And then there's like in a locked, one of the bedrooms gets locked, and you see on the camera like a woman in a white gown in there, and like they're trying to get in the door and they can't, and the room's locked.
Yep. The same woman in the white gown who's in the convenience store is the same white type of white gown.
Right.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. And then she watches Jay's camera, and I can't remember what happens on Jay's camera, actually.
He hears a noise, and
like
he walks off camera and gets hit.
Oh, that's right. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah.
So you're kind of like seeing things, and then you also, then it's no longer just found footage, or I guess it could be, because it could be in the yard, but you see way in the distance, you see an enormous bonfire, and you see all of these people who look like they could be women standing in a semicircle. And then it cuts back to Kris in the bathtub, and she gets out of the tub, and then you see her unconscious on the floor, and a woman is she gets scared because like a naked woman is like coming at her, and this naked woman then over her body cuts her, like slices her neck and bleeds on her, and then passes out. And then Kris wakes up, and then presumably a soul switch, and then walks out, and then joins all the circle of women. And the other thing I should mention earlier is Kris is talking to the camera herself, and I knew this was coming because I saw that John Collier painting, and I'm like, that's Lilith. That is a very famous painting. And then she sees like the Lilith's name written on a door frame, and she's like, I Googled Lilith, and this is what comes up, the same painting that's here. And so she reads like an article aloud about Lilith, and how Lilith was the actual first woman before Eve and was a consort of Adam, but she wanted to be equal. And he was like, no, no, no. And so she gets cast out of Eden. Haha, Eden Street, Eden. So anyway, yeah. So that's basically the movie.
Yeah. Did it hang together for you two? Evan.
It felt very long despite being very short. This movie is like an hour and 18 minutes and it's felt way longer to me. Like I was kind of enjoying it at first, but then I was also just starting to feel like it was like tedious and stretching on for too long without really hooking me in with much of a plot. It felt very like kind of meandering. And that can be okay in found footage, but normally I feel like there's more of a storyline to follow, and that's just kind of, I feel like, ends in kind of a. It felt very much like the end of The Witch. It's like,
oh, it did,
joins the circle
Yes.
of the women around the fire, like the nude women around the fire, and okay, now you've joined the coven. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like this was. It's not shot terribly. It's not performed terribly. Like I actually kind of like the people in it and their dynamics with each other, and they feel like people, like you mentioned, Megan, that have been working together, but there's cracks forming in their relationships, and that part all feels very real to me. I just feel like there wasn't, and some of the stuff in it is spooky, like the thing with the hands, the locked doors, the absence, the lost time, which we didn't talk about. Like they get there in the house and they're like, oh, we should just get out of here. Let's go and stay at the car. And then they just wake up and it's the next day and they're like, what the fuck? We were just talking last night. And all of a sudden it's like, and that happens to them like multiple times. So I feel like there's spooky stuff. I just didn't feel like I had enough to like hold my attention to like cling on to. That's kind of
cling on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that I think I needed more story because there are all these things that happen that are paranormal, but it doesn't seem like there's any coherence to them. And and you don't necessarily need to know exactly why things are happening or what's going on. But I feel like they missed, Kris is pregnant and they have talked about how like a little girl disappeared, or like they've mentioned pregnancies and things like that. And I just kept thinking, okay, well, maybe we're going to, the ghosts or whoever they are going to be like, ooh, we want this one because she's pregnant and we can, steal her baby and come back to life that way or something. I don't know. And I feel like there are all these different threads that just don't add up to much because, okay, Celina and Jay end up dead and you see them there at the fire, all bloody. It's like, but are they going to throw their bodies in the bonfire? Are they going to throw Kris in the bonfire? Is Kris one of them now? Like,
they're like, are they bathing her in their blood? They're like wiping the blood on her. Is that what is going on?
Yeah. I mean, right. They take off Kris's clothes and they're bathing her in blood. So much so that her hair is matted and she doesn't even look like the same person. So I was like, is that Kris Collins? I can't tell. And so, I don't think Blair Witch is the greatest found footage horror movie ever, but I do think that it might be in the top 5. Anyway, it's great. But I do think that it really does a good job of lore building, before it gets into the spooky stuff. Whereas in this movie, it's just like, well, let's just be spooky and we'll fill in the gaps, sort of, I guess, maybe. And maybe the intention is, well, the characters don't know what's going on, so why should the audience know what's going on, But at the same time, it's like, well, I kind of feel left out of this whole thing, though. So, yeah. And I also want to say, I thought the performances were really good until it started getting like seriously spooky. And then I felt like Celina Myers, who's the one I liked the most, I feel like she is the one who felt like I was watching act the most, which was a little bit of a bummer. But you can't win them all. So, Megan, how about you?
I liked this. I definitely think that there are issues with it. I think especially in the beginning. It's funny, Evan, because you had said you really liked it in the beginning, and I didn't dislike it in the beginning, but I actually liked it way more in the back end. I thought once they get to the house and the spooky shit starts happening, I was way more invested in what was going on because everything that they had shown up until that point, I feel like you could see the characters and how they were reacting kind of it was almost like a repetition of what we'd already seen already, but just playing out there. So I wish they had gotten to the spooky shit sooner or faster. And I think that would have heightened tension, at least for me. But yeah, no, I did like this. I agree with you, Dave. I think Celina Myers is really likable and is really good in the beginning. I think when things get scary and serious, she's not as effective, not quite as good, not bad, but just not as.
It's like she's less good enough so that you notice the difference.
Yes. But I really like Kris Collins. I think she's great from start to finish. I liked Jay, whose now last name I cannot remember, which is terrible. It's like Jason Christopher Mayer.
Right.
I liked him. I really liked Kris Collins. For me, I think she, for me, was the most watchable, the most charismatic. I really was following her and kind of invested in what was going to happen. I love Blair Witch and I love The Witch. So this, to me, the Blair Witch and the Witch had a baby. I am here for it. So, and I know I already said it, but I love that scene with the cat balls and how the cat balls are lighting up following her. I thought that was great. I wanted more scenes like that. I think that for me is what's missing and I agree with you, Dave. I think it needs, I was going to say it needs more lore, but also I'm kind of like, I think you're onto something when you're like, it's kind of showing, it's not giving you more because it's having things revealed as the characters learn it. Like the audience is learning as the characters are learning.
Right.
Which I kind of appreciate. But yeah, so I really liked the elements in this and I liked the last like 25 minutes. I just wish there was more tension, more of it.
Yeah. And I do have to say, even though it does get, gnarly in the house there, it's really not a very scary setting because it is so pristine. What I found,
I think it's unnerving. I really thought it was.
Yeah, I think it could be. I think it takes way too long for the characters to actually vocally acknowledge the fact that although there is no power in this house, that like there's no dust or anything. They're kind of like walking along for like a really long time and they're like, "Oh, it's weird. This house is deserted." I'm like, "But it's clearly not. Like it's got manicured flowers, like there's like okay, it doesn't have power, but someone could turn off the breaker. They could turn off the water and the power at the breaker. It's like very obvious that this place has been lived in and there are people probably lurking somewhere in the shadows here." Yeah. And then like it takes like they're like 3/4 of the way through the movie, like, "Oh yeah, it's totally weird that there's no dust here. Like something's clearly wrong." Like, what? Why did it take you so long to acknowledge that? That should have been the first fucking thing you noticed when you stroll in this place.
Exactly.
I noticed the freshly cut or the flowers like in the pots at the flower stands. I'm like, this is fucking grandma's living here still, guys. And I didn't really count. Were there 3 dolls in the house?
There's
those
at least
creepy
2.
dolls.
Oh, yeah.
I couldn't remember. Because if I didn't pay enough attention to it at the time because I didn't know whether it was like something we were supposed to pay attention to, is if there were like 2 girl dolls and 1 boy doll or something like that.
Oh yes.
I didn't think about that. Oh well. It almost works for me. I mean, I think that once they started getting into the scares, such as they are, that worked better. I did not find the cat ball thing so spooky.
Oh, I loved it.
Because, well, I knew it was coming. So, like, there was that.
Yeah, I did too, but that's why I liked it.
But you know what I didn't know was coming? The hand coming down from the ceiling. And I was like, did something come down from the ceiling? And I wound it back. I'm like, it sure fucking did.
Yep. Yeah. No, I hear you. But that's why I liked the cat ball thing. So I'm like, oh my God, it's going to follow her. It's going to follow her. And like, I don't know. Like I just got primed for it. So But no, the hand was, I think the hand was a great cap on that. Like something is coming and then surprise.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I don't know. Mixed bag for me. But not bad. Not a bad movie. By any means.
No.
So, Evan, sounds like you might fall into the it's not so good camp.
Yeah. It's not horrible. It's just, I don't know. I wish I liked it more.
Yeah. Well, hey, at least it was short. That that time that felt long was actually short.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anybody have any closing thoughts on House on Eden?
Nope.
Okay. Well then, gang, let's recap. I think, Megan, would you say see the new Fantastic Four movie?
Sure.
Okay. I gotta say, Evan, I'm not sure I would recommend Oh Hi.
I feel conflicted about it because I'm like, I enjoyed it, but is it a movie that like I would recommend to other people? I'm feeling kind of your mileage may vary on this one.
Definitely. But I think I lean toward your mileage may not vary. And then House on Eden, if you're a found footage horror movie kind of person, sure, absolutely, I would say see it.
I agree.
Evan,
I'm on the fence. I feel like I disliked some of it enough to say I might not recommend it, but
that's fair.
There's worse ways to spend your time. Like you said, it is short.
Yeah. Alrighty. Well, that is this episode of Spoiler Piece Theater. I want to thank our sponsor piece patron, Heather Sachs. Heather, thank you so much for being our sponsor piece patron.
Thanks, Heather.
Thanks, Heather.
I forgot the outro list this week, so I'm going to do it from memory. And you know how good my memory is. You can find Spoiler Piece Theater anywhere you get podcasts. We are Spoiler Piece Theater on Facebook. We're at Spoiler Piece on Instagram, Letterboxd, Twitter, Blue Sky, and Threads. Yes, I remember them all.
Yay.
If you would like to rate and review us, you can do that at ratethispodcast.com/spoilerpiece.
Yep, that's right.
Okay. I always want to say rate that podcast like I'm, Ed Sullivan or something like that. Anyway.
I was going to say Monty Hall.
Yeah. And if you want to do it just on Apple or Spotify podcasts, that is also very helpful to us. If you want to get in touch with us, please send us an email. We're spoilerpiece@gmail.com. You can do DM us through any of the social medias I just mentioned. We no longer have our phone number because we accidentally lost it. So we will be getting a new one for you as soon as we can. And I think I need to thank our editor, Otto Clamor. Otto, thank you for making us sound great week in and week out.
Thanks, Otto.
Thanks, Otto.
And that is Spoiler Piece Theater. I think that's everything. My name is Dave Riedel. I write about movies. I'm a member of the Boston Online Film Critics Association. And I'm on all the social medias as Dave Sees Movies, except for Blue Sky, in which I am David Riedel, and Twitter, in which I am not there at all.
My name is Evan Crean. I'm co-chair of the Boston Online Film Critics Association, co-author of Your 80s Movie Guide to Better Living, and co-host of the It's the Pictures podcast. And you can follow me on social media as Real Recon, and that's real as in film reel.
And my name is Megan Kearns. I write reviews for Edge Media Network. I'm a co-host of the Slashers podcast. I, too, am a member of the Boston Online Film Critics Association, and I'm a member of Gallica. You can follow me on Blue Sky and Twitter at OpinionS World or on Instagram and Letterboxd at The Opinion S.
Thanks, everyone. See you next time.
Bye.